veteran of the cloud and data center industry. Some might even call him a savant. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome to W Media Sandeep Dandekar. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Pleasure.
Sir, I would like to first get to know your overview of the cloud and data center industry here in the Middle East, and especially what is it that makes Dubai and the UAE a sort of a crown jewel in the data center crown of the Middle East?
Well, good question. I think a few things. First of all, digital is a way forward, irrespective of which geography, which business. That's the way forward. All brick and mortar, all conventional are going to be replaced, are being replaced, and that journey, that migration is only going to be accelerated because you see IT, IoT, VR, you name it, e-com, and everything in the space. So, and when you talk about Dubai in particular, this place has always led the journey of taking a step forward. We know that this was one place which came up with Jebel Ali Port about 60, 70 years ago. And since then, um, eyebrows have always gone up when they took a step ahead of time. That was a time when people said, why Jebel Ali? And then they kept on coming up with Palm Island and this and that. And every time there was an eyebrow going up saying, why this? Who's going to use it? So this has been, I think, in the DNA of Dubai to always take a step ahead early in time. And they have a tremendous vision. The second thing is they have been able to successfully been able to make Dubai as a hub of business, of banking, healthcare, more and more upcoming in education, and so many different sectors, tourism. So digital is certainly going to transform all these sectors, and it only makes logical sense that one, uh, they have the land, they have the right kind of all the infrastructure, whether it is road infrastructure, power infrastructure, availability of telecom players, all that is there. So no wonder Dubai is the market now, and it is upcoming. It is definitely not there like an APAC market or Europe market or India for that matter now, but it is accelerating, and it is the rise is going to be very, very fast.
And Dubai does have world-class infrastructure. That's something that's a great point you made. What I'd also like to know is that it is also emerging as a sort of a hub for co-location facilities. What do you think is driving that?
Co-location, in my opinion, at least as of now or maybe in near future, I don't see a lot of hyperscalers possibly happening here. So it will be more or less like an enterprise kind of market, retail and small enterprise or mid-size enterprise. So I don't see, at least for next few years, hyperscalers coming up like you have in US or India or APAC. But definitely co-location, and it makes sense for all the businesses to either go in cloud or go for colo, because that allows them to concentrate all their resources, all their focus into their core business. I was just chatting with somebody between during the break now, and they were saying that we need to invest a lot of time and energy in still educating some CIO as to why it is in their interest to go for colo or go for cloud rather than having their own infrastructure. Now, this is typically a phase of a life cycle. Same cycle of learning, cycle of education has happened in all the mature markets today. And it is like, for example, if you have a lot of people traveling in your organization, you don't set up your airport. If you are using banking, you don't set up your bank. You have certain core business, you focus on your core business and leave what is non-core to somebody whose core is that. So it makes all the sense. It allows you to convert your capex into opex. It allows you flexibility. It allows you to pay as you use. You can scale up easily, you can downscale easily. For example, any e-com has, let's say, seasonal, those big sales. Somebody calls it this big, that big. So you have 1 day or 2 days where possibly the traffic on your site, the data usage, the traffic is 10 times, 20 times of your usual usage. Now, do you plan your capacity 20 times just because you have those 2 days? Obviously not. But what if you don't have that infrastructure and you want to do those two big events? So it allows you to hire that, take that flexibility, take that higher bandwidth, higher storage, higher network for those 2 or 3 days or maybe 10 days. As you're done with that, you can downscale and remain lean again. So all these flexibilities, think about security, think about all the time upgrade of your hardware, software. You can let that be a headache of somebody who does it as a core, whether it is in the managed services model. In the colo, of course, that all remains with you. You're only holding your hardware with somebody, but all the software management, everything remains with you. But if you add a layer to it, then managed services is a full outsource mode.
Now let's talk about something I'm passionate about and you're very passionate about, and that is sustainability. But that appears to be a huge challenge because this is one of the hottest geographies in the world. Cooling is, I mean, as it is, data centers are huge power guzzlers and their cooling requirements. How can the industry remain climate friendly? How can we continue to commit to the green agenda?
Well, you're right. Data centers have a natural moral responsibility to lead this journey because they consume their potential to impact the environment is far more than any other businesses because they consume a lot of power. There's a lot of heat that is emitted. Uh, in a way, wherever diesel generator sets are used, there is vibration, there is soot, everything. So in a way, data centers have an impact potential unless well managed to impact an environment or harm it much more than any other businesses. And therefore, it is very important that data centers take a lead to become more sensitive on environment. So, be it during construction, selection of materials which are more environment friendly, which are impacting to the Mother Earth as less as possible, right since then to calculating your heat loads, managing your data hall temperatures, doing the cooling more efficiently, thereby reducing the power load on power consumption. There are n number of ways. Water management, if you have water chillers, there's tremendous amount of water consumption. So how do you minimize the wastage of water, consumption of water? There are multiple streams in which data centers can, must, and are doing all possible to save Mother Earth.
There's another huge concern, and this has to do with people. As it is, there's this terror that AI and ML are going to take away jobs from people. There is a very clear skill gap. How do you think that can be addressed? Because you don't really have university training for people to go into data centers, and here in the Middle East, we don't really have that many technical universities like we say perhaps in India. So how do we address the skill gap?
Very well said. Actually, this has been spoken about in data center forums within the joint bodies where various operators cooperate, kind of, share, speak their mind. There is no structured course, there is no academy, there is no university where there are inputs given either to design or construct or operate data centers. Therefore, what happens, you always, while the demand is up of the talent pool, the supply of the trained talent pool is less. So you end up that making that as one of the bottlenecks, one of the constraint. What is supply chain? And I always say supply chain is a mixed stream of 6 to 7 things. Very often, people say supply chain is flow of goods, but look at it. It's flow of goods, flow of information, flow of funds, flow of decisions, and flow of talent. You need right talent at right time when you need. And if you have less talent than total talent needed, it'll always be a constraint. If you look at the whole industry as such, and then what happens is the way to fulfill is poaching one another, which is not the best thing to do because you have less amount of talent available. You're only going to poach, which destabilizes everybody. So I think it is up to industry, maybe along with the government, maybe along with the local universities, to come up with some course. They will have to design some course which are specialized in designing of data center, operating data centers, possibly inculcating in them the green earth concepts. How do we minimize consumption? How do we impact Mother Earth as less as possible? All this has to be a part of curriculum, and obviously industry, all the operators will have to take initiative, work with some universities, and at least in the next 5 years, 7 years, create a talent pool available.
Finally, sir, you are one of our most respected speakers. You moderated a panel earlier today, and I'd like you to share with us what kind of an experience you had here at W Media's Cloud and Data Center Awards in Dubai. Uh, what is the buzz? What was the vibe you felt? Could you describe that for us,
Oh,
please?
fantastic, fantastic. I mean, we had representatives from all possible sides. We have representatives from across various types of customers. We had data center operators, we had consultants, designers. Uh, in a way, data center operators are service providers, which is like, skill providers, equipment providers, everybody's here. So it's a whole ecosystem under one roof. It's like a melting pot. You're able to speak minds. You're able to know who's thinking what, who's thinking as what is our next step, you know. So as a whole thing, you all your silos, all your walls, I felt break down, because you're able to meet all 360-degree people. It's tremendous, because I think I'm going to go back with lot of enhanced awareness, enhanced knowledge about Dubai and this region. And Dubai has always been close to my life, because I lived here for 10 years. I have some more reasons here because of which I keep coming here. So wonderful to be here. Thank you, W Media.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We have all learned so much from you today, and it was truly an honor and a pleasure to interview you, Mr. Sandeep Dandekar. We will be bringing you many more interviews from the Cloud and Data Center Convention and Awards that's taking place here in Dubai. But for now, in Dubai, I'm Deborah Gray, Regional Editor for South Asia and the Middle East.